Time for top complimented fragrances of the year. It's about that time, right? I'm just going to do a general top complimented list. I do my little disclaimer like I did before I did my one last year. I'm not too horny about top complimented lists in general because one, fragrances are random. There's only so many days in the year, so even you have people that have thousands of fragrances, right? So even the people say you had 365 fragrances, right? Well, that would mean if you actually wore a fragrance for each day of the year, to be fair, you only wore one fragrance, right? And then you go into compliments are random anyway, so how can you really judge something like that? And so basically, kind of, my opinion, honestly, is just find whatever reviewer you like and look at their top 10 list and pick a few that you like. It doesn't have to be their number one, their number two, or their number three, because in general, as long as it's within reason, nothing too crazy, most things are supposed to sell to get compliments, right? So, I think it's more interesting fragrances that tend to get not as many compliments because most things, again, as long as it's within the reason, you can get compliments, right? So that's why I'm not too horny about compliment lists, but whatever. It's that time of year I'll do it, right? So let me just talk about fragrances that I, in general, have experience with that maybe is popular in the fragrance community. I'll give my opinion on those. So cheap ones, Guess Seductive. I've said this before, but dude, I've gotten so many compliments on Guess Seductive that when I finally had a girl tell me that she didn't really like it, I was just like, dude, what? Like, are you serious? Like, smell it again. I was pretty fucking shocked. So yeah, that's how many compliments I got on that. I'm not super in love with it, so I don't really wear it anymore. And I just got so many compliments on it, I got kind of tired of wearing it because it just became such a dumb reach. So I guess Seductive, another cheap one that I've talked about. Looking at my list here, actually, Calvin Klein Reveal. Again, so many compliments on it that I've gotten a little tired of actually wearing it sometimes. But yeah, a ton of compliments on Calvin Klein Reveal. Some, let's say, go to like some niche brands that are popular. Creed, obviously, right? I've said this before, dude, but something like Millicent Imperial, I hear a lot of people say they get a lot of compliments on. Dude, I actually got an unsolicited compliment on Millicent Imperial this year, and I was so shocked. The girl was like, "Oh, you smell really good, right?" And I was like, "Dude, that can't be me, right?" It's like, I think you're smelling someone else, right?" And she was like, "No, no, it's you, it's you." I was like, I don't think it's me. I was like, that's how shocked I was when I got a compliment on Millicent Imperial. That should tell you that I really, I just don't get a lot of compliments on that. I guess some people do, but I don't. From Creed, I never really got a lot of compliments on Green Irish Tweed either. Um, Silver Mountain Water, I do get a lot of compliments on Silver Mountain Water, as long as they can smell you. Good compliments too. One that I like as well, so I'm glad I got compliments on that. What about Aventus? Yes, Aventus gets a lot of compliments. I've gotten a lot of compliments on Aventus. Again, it's not something I'm super horny about, but a lot of compliments. I find that it's who cares? Whatever. It generally gets a lot of compliments. I think it's a little more mature and older smelling, if you will. And I think if I was going for that vibe, I think there's things that do that vibe better that fit me more. So I don't wear Aventus a lot, but I've gotten a lot of compliments on Aventus. Other things, again, looking at my list, let's go to like Tom Ford stuff. Thankfully, you know what? This year, actually, Tobacco Vanille did a little better for me this year than past years, which I was glad because it's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite fragrances of all time. So it did a little bit better for me this year. Like it was generally more. Usually it's a little polarizing. You know what I mean? I think most people like the smell, as I've said before, but for everyone, it's not exactly a fragrance kind of smell. If you get my drift. But this year it was generally much more positive. I found. Tuscan leather. Uh, some compliments on it. That's definitely a vibe. I think you have to. It's got to be your vibe to pull that off. I've gotten, some people layer though, right? So I have tried the Tuscan Ventus thing, Tuscan leather with the Ventus. I've definitely gotten compliments on that. But just Tuscan leather, it's kind of a vibe, right? So besides that, oud wood. Again, I'm not super horny about oud wood, but if you're going for Tom Ford, I have had a lot of people tell me they like oud wood. For what it's worth, I guess. Again, we're talking about compliments. there was a Tom Ford boutique, another one that opened up near me recently, and a few girls I was with there, just the story, I guess, right? Their favorites were actually, in general, was either Tuscan leather, tobacco vanille, or the Costa Rica. It's not Costa Rica, right? Costa Azura Costa. What am I thinking of? I don't have that one, but I remember the girls like that one too. So just take that for what it's worth, you know, 'cause a lot of people talk about Tom Ford stuff, right? So yeah. Lana Whitlam, a lot of compliments on Lana Whitlam. Definitely a good one. I can't speak. I guess it's been reformulated the past few years. I got an old bottle. It works well. Invictus. Invictus has gotten a lot of compliments. You know, I never really wore Invictus Aqua a lot, so I can't really give my opinion on that one because I always felt like if I was going to wear Invictus, I would just wear Invictus, but I've gotten a lot of compliments on Invictus. Allure Home Sport Extreme, a lot of compliments on Allure Home Sport Extreme. Definitely a lot of compliments, more so than the regular one. But the regular one does get a lot of compliments, I find too, and that's actually becoming more of my dumb reach, just because I've kind of switch it up. Sometimes you get bored. That was more of my dumb reach this year. But Allure Home Sport Extreme, a lot of fucking compliments on that one. Armani Code Perfumo, that was one I wore a lot this year. I did get a lot of compliments on that. I will say a little caveat about that one. Interestingly enough, when I was kind of cheating, when you know, like, I'm not talking about unsolicited compliments, but when I'm just like cheating and having girls smell, and when I've done like little, God, lots of other reviews, dude. That's what I should do, right? You know, come with some of my girlfriends and do that because that's such so easy clickbait, right? Um, but the caveat for what it's worth, you know what? When I've actually had girls smell Allure Home Sport Extreme, no, Armani Code Perfumo, um, it actually has never won any. I was about to say taste testing, right? It's never won any smell testing for me, actually. I've actually, I think the last one I did too is I just put it up for some cheap ones. I put it up for Calvin Klein Reveal, Yopo Wild, Guess Seductive, and Armani Code Perfumo. And Armani Code Perfumo was the least liked one out of all of those. That's probably not what you wanted to hear because you're like Clayton, you just said it's one of your best compliment getters. But I'm just saying that's why some of those things can be kind of random because you know unsolicited compliment wise, I've gotten a lot of compliments on it, but in blind taste testing, I'm just gonna say taste testing because I don't care. In blind taste testing, it is never done very well. I don't know why, right? Anyway, 1 million, the original 1 million, a lot of compliments. You know what? You know, people say things are popular, not to wear things that are popular, but dude, I don't know. What do you want me to say? Like, dude, even say something like Lamal, a lot of compliments. Even on the original Lamal, even though it's like a familiar smell, people like it, dude. I actually like the 1 million Privé. I think small one is better than 1 million, but it just doesn't perform well enough to get those kind of compliments. I find it, and the smell is just not that good. The smell is not good enough for how weak it is to just become that good of a compliment I get, I guess, right? But yeah, like I said before, besides that, original Lamal, dude, lots of compliments. Lamal Popeye compliments, even Ultra Lamal compliments. My experience with Ultra Lamal is basically what other people say. Girls think it's kind of girly if they don't super like it or it's a little bit too sweet, but in general, a very good compliment getter. Again, looking at this list, Dolce and Gabbana, the one, a lot of compliments on both the EDT and the EDP. I actually think the EDT smells a little bit better, and I would actually say I think I've gotten more compliments on the EDT. Maybe it's just because I've worn it a little more. I'm not sure, but I do like the EDT more, and I've gotten more compliments on it. For what it's worth, I have had experiences now where when you're just wearing something, doesn't even have to be the one, right? A girl might be like, "Oh my God, you smell so good. That must be the one. That's my favorite fragrance of all time." So I think that should show you how popular it's getting. That even when you don't wear it, right, people are automatically think about it, right? Other things I've noticed. I don't wear a lot of Blue Day Chanel, but I've gotten compliments on that. Like I said, I don't actually generally wear things I don't care for because I don't have that kind of disposable income to be buying bottles of things that I don't want to wear. So Blue Day Chanel, I don't wear a lot of that. Dior Sauvage, a lot of compliments, and even when I'm not wearing that, people have asked if I'm wearing that and they think it smells good. But again, Dior Sauvage, don't really care for it, so I don't wear it. Grand Soir, I haven't seen a lot of people talk about that, but I think that's awesome, and I've gotten a lot of compliments on that one. That one smells awesome. I love that one. For novelty stuff, you know, New Harlem, I guess, right? Some people might say it's too novelty-ish, but I've gotten a lot of compliments on New Harlem, and I've had compliments like this is the best thing I've ever smelled, right? And compared to something like, let's say it smells like, because it kind of does kind of smell like Pure Tonka. Pure Tonka, I've gotten compliments on, but I've actually had, people say they like New Harlem, but they don't like things like Pure Tonka. Like it was just too strong, which is a little weird, but take that for what it's worth. Row Cross Man gets smells like that, compliments, but it's just too weak, I think, to get those kind of extreme compliments, right? Other novelty stuff, chocolate greedy. You know what? People think it just smells like chocolate, some people, but you know what? For the novelty of it compared to other, say, novelty scents, chocolate greedy does pretty well. And what I mean by that is, I'm not trying to say this to talk shit because the guy actually seems pretty nice. He seems pretty cool, right? But say the Dane Chocolate Man, whatever it's called, I didn't have many people like that when I wore that. It was pretty hit or miss, right? And I can only assume it's because it does have a bit of a burnt chocolate smell to it. But I think it smells good, but thinking in terms of novelty-ish, right? Chocolate greedy, I have had a lot of girls tell me they like, but something like Chocolate Man, I haven't gotten a lot of compliments on. Say Montal's Vanilla Absolute, which smells a lot like chocolate, not a lot of compliments on, right? But Chocolate Greedy, compliments, dude, right? Um, I've said things before like I love Vanilla Absolute, or not Vanilla Absolute, Sweet Vanilla, and there's the Dolce and Fundo, and I have gotten compliments on those, but I just haven't gotten the kind of extreme compliments. You know what I mean? For other novelty stuff, by Killian's Love. Again, feminine fragrance I wear, but again, sometimes novelty is good, and sometimes girls are just like, I don't care if it smells like that. You just smell fucking amazing, right? So by Killian's Love, novelty is, but lots of compliments, dude. Uh, Besides that, just talking about by Killian stuff. I think I've said this before. I've actually gotten a lot of compliments on Straight to Heaven, which I think is kind of a little bit weird because I think it smells a little bit mature, but I have definitely gotten compliments on that. And fortunately, I've never had enough of Straight to Heaven Extreme to try it, but I would love to try that more with girls, but I'm not going to lie to you and say that I've worn it a lot to test it out. Um, Intoxicated is one that I've heard from girls that like are into fragrances that they like Intoxicated, if that makes sense. What else? Back to Black. Not a lot of compliments on Back to Black, even though that's the kind of fragrance that people in the community say gets a ton of compliments. Back to Black, have had the experience that a lot of girls just think it smells like baby powder. What are you gonna do, right, dude? I actually think a lot of bike healing stuff is actually very fucking wearable. I just don't have the money to own them all to really test them all out. But people, if I had them, I would try them out too, because I actually think bike healing has a lot of good stuff. But I just don't have all the money for all the bottles to really give you my genuine opinion of wearing them out around girlfriends a lot. One other thing I forgot to say for Creed too. Again, not something I wear because I don't like the opening, but girls that are into fragrances do tell me a lot that they like Original Santal. I don't like the opening, so I don't own it. But, take that for what it's worth. People that are into fragrances, Original Santal is one that they talk about a lot. How could I forget something like CH Men? These are probably the compliments you guys want to hear. Last time I wore CH Men, a girl came up to me and said, "You smell so good, I want to suck you off." I think, right? She said something like, "You smell so good, I want to suck you off," or "I want to suck you off, you smell so good." This gets into the story of compliments, though, right? Because it's like, well, have you ever smelled? Well, I'm not gay, I guess, so that's not gonna work. But have you ever smelled somebody so good that they're like, "I don't care if you were unattractive, I want to fuck you," right? So that's what I mean. I think, did I really smell that good that she came up to me and wanted to suck me off? I don't think so, right? But um, so that's why. So it's kind of like that's what I'm just saying. Like I think fragrances are kind of an icebreaker. I don't think it actually smelled that good. But yeah, no, lots of compliments on CH Men, despite not having awesome performance. I don't think a lot of compliments on that one. Good compliments on CH Men Privé. Not as many compliments as CH Men, but I think that's because CH Men is or CH Men Privé. It's a bit more of a vibe, right? Like it's a vibe. Like, and that's something I talk about when I do reviews too. Some fragrances, you gotta have the right vibe, right? Like some, some people look at me and they see me a certain way. Some people might see me maybe wearing a lot of like, I'm all black, maybe sometimes we view people and we have some kind of image in our head, right? So, you know what, if the girl, if she's into that vibe of say something like Tuscan leather, right, or like a CH Man Privé, I would say what CH Man Privé does well is it's just, it's like a vibe, but not enough that it's unwearable, and it's still sweet enough that, it's still generally acceptable to normal people. And it fits that vibe better than say something like a step above that would be say a lot of Jean Varvatos fragrances, right? Like those are going a little bit more vibe-ish, right? And besides the fact that they don't perform well, you know, when it's a vibe, it's hard for me to say that something is a top complimented fragrance when I know you got to be in the right vibe. You know what I mean? The person's got to be feeling you, and they gotta want it too, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. But Stage Man Privé, it's starting to become a vibe. But if it's your vibe, I think it works. But I would say the original Sage Man was better than that. I think that's all I have written down. I think those are a lot of the ones that normally get talked about. There's a lot of fragrances that I would love to wear more myself, but I just don't haven't tried them enough. My health was really bad this year, so I was not out as much. I know my list is pretty similar to last year because of that. I really like House of Sillage #1, but I didn't get to wear that a lot. Just so many fragrances I really enjoy. But what are you gonna do, right? I don't want to lie to you and just do stuff that I only have people smell on strips, right? Because that would be bullshit. So, not saying that doesn't matter at all because it does a little bit, right? But and the CHM thing, I forgot what I was saying. I was trying to say that sometimes compliments are a vibe too. I forgot what I was trying to say that. Do you think she really came up to me and said that because of how I smell, or because it was kind of like a party and there are all these other girls and everything around me, right? So that's what I mean too about you don't want to wear a fragrance and feel like you need the compliments, right? Like I'm not really into Aventus, so I don't want to wear Aventus and feel like, oh man, I need someone to tell me that I smell sexy because it's not really me. If I want to smell a little bit older, more mature, I could wear something like Straight to Heaven that is a little bit better, or CH Man Privé, or even a Tobacco Vanille, I guess, right? Because those are more me. And that's what I'm trying to say. So my advice for compliments is look at all these top 10 complimented lists you see, pick the ones that you like, because chances are they're still going to get compliments, even if it's not their #1. Let it be you. As long as it's within reason, as long as it's not something like funky, whatever, right? It should be okay. That's kind of my list. Hopefully I remembered everything. Oh, Pure Malt. Fucking Pure Malt, dude. Pure Malt, a ton of compliments. It smells unique and it performs well, so it demands attention, right? Other Terry Mugler stuff, I don't get a lot of compliments on Pure Malt. I know some people say they do. I don't really get many compliments on that at all. But Pure Malt, yes. I probably should have wrote a better list since I'm just kind of like looking at this below me, but hopefully you got what I'm saying. Thanks for watching. The end.